Hi, I'm Frederick. Welcome to What's What, a new YouTube channel all about electricity. And when I say all about electricity, I mean it. We'll discuss everything there is to discuss about electricity, from those little neurons in your brain to today's biggest hydroelectric stations. We'll talk about green energy, transmission lines, and new emerging technologies. If it has to do with electricity, we got it covered. But since this is our first episode, I'm going to keep things simple and give you a 10-step preview of why I'm doing this channel and why you should care about electricity. First reason, I'm a bit of an electricity freak. I've been curious about electricity since as long as I can remember. Some kids played with Legos, but I was lost in the electric fields. You could say my childhood was a bit shocking, but my passion for electricity never faded. Eventually, I became an engineer in the field of superconductivity. I went on to learn some pretty amazing things, and now I'm here to share them with you. Picture a world with no electricity. We wouldn't even have the internet. Can you imagine? No email, no Netflix, no Facebook, no Instagram, no YouTube. Electricity is so everywhere that sometimes we forget it even exists. Let me show you how it shapes the world, how it transports us, entertains us, helps us communicate, feeds us, heals us, and keeps us safe. Understanding electricity is understanding how the world operates. So I'm here to show you how electricity is handled and what happens if it isn't handled properly. We'll survey the different ways electricity can be renewed, transported, and distributed. I break down a few specific systems that transfer electricity into energy, like power grids, transmission lines, and substations. Maybe we forget electricity exists because we never really see how it works. I'm going to make electricity visible for you. I reveal how electricity provides us with power. To do so, I'll take you out of the studio for a few tours to some exciting locations. We'll visit solar farms, cable factories, labs, museums, cable-laying vessels. These places will help us explain the remarkable ways electricity is used and why. But I can't travel everywhere, so I introduce some scientists to teach me about electricity in their respective fields, like Atina.
Hi.
Hi, Atina. And Vanessa.
Hello.
So, how are you going to help me talk about electricity?
Electricity is important on Earth, but it's also important in space. I'd like to discuss the impact of outer space on the usage of electricity. For instance, how to power a rocket that launches into space from the surface of Earth. Also, how the International Space Station powers itself so that astronauts can live on there and conduct science. And then you look at places like Mars, which have completely different conditions and environment than here on Earth. And yet, the Mars rovers, all the robots that are currently on the surface of Mars, use things like the energy from the sun and then converts the energy through the solar panels into electricity to power the batteries of the rovers. There are so many cool things about how electricity is used in space, and that's what I'm going to be chatting with you guys about. But first, I'm curious, Frederick, would you go to Mars?
No, I wouldn't. I think I stay here. Thanks. What about you, Vanessa?
I'm going to explain how electricity works inside our brain. I'll talk about neurons, ions, positive and negative charges.
In transmission systems?
No, Frederick, inside our brain, within the brain. So neurons, which are a type of brain cell, actually communicate using electrical charges. And their charge changes depending on whether they're sending a signal to another neuron or not. So you actually think using electricity. How cool is that?
Electricity is filled with all sorts of fun facts and unbelievable trivia. Ever wondered how many watts your brain runs on?
It's typically 12. Nice try, Frederick.
Touché. There is so much science in electricity. Physics, magnetism, biology. I know this sounds confusing, but don't worry. We'll break down electricity at every level, from micro to macro. We'll examine electrons, map out submarine links, and see how super cables function. We'll talk about amps, gigawatts, charges, current formulas, the flow of electricity, and magnetic fields. Like I said, we're going to cover everything. And I mean everything about electricity, even the energy of tomorrow. With the demand for power growing rapidly, it is no secret that the human race will need electricity in the future. So we'll take a glimpse into the future of electricity. We'll explore electrification, how it's expanding, and the different ways to get electricity to those without access. I will show you how electricity is to be used in the future and why. But there is a bigger picture here. Our climate is changing, but believe it or not, electrification could be the answer. Since the Industrial Revolution, fossil fuels have been the leading cause of global warming. More natural energy means less carbon emissions. And less emissions means a safer, cleaner environment. But how can electrification help? Can it really stop or reverse climate change? And how could we produce enough green energy to support the global economy? That's what I'm going to explore with you. On this channel, I'll show you the future of electricity, the beauty of electricity, the fun of electricity, the importance of electricity. I'll show you the power behind the world's best resource of energy. By the way, folks, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I actually work for a company who believes in sustainable electrifications, Nexans. So much so, they helped me build this crazy project, so I will give my colleagues a shout out from time to time. And thank you for watching. Remember, there is much more to come. Subscribe, activate the bell, leave a comment, give us a like. And stay tuned for the future episodes. You might be shocked at what you see.